Yes. So, very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are here in the platform of YouTube, again coming back with something regarding my subject economics. After a long time, from vlogging to my subject back again. Not as Shayan, rather as Shayan sir. So we are here presenting one particular chapter, bank, what is very very important for class 12 AI SSC as well as CBSE as well as our ISC as well. So both the board as well as WBCS, West Bengal State Board, also do have this particular chapter, bank. So I'm very eager to share few of my knowledge which is unknown to you, may be known to me, in front of you. So let's start about what bank is. The first question that arises in this chapter, banking, is what is bank, sir? What do you understand by the word bank? The word bank refers to a financial organization. The word bank refers to a financial organization that accepts the deposit of the savers and grant loans to the depositors. We consider such a financial organization as bank, which have two major functions to do. The first function is accepting deposit and number two is granting loans. So number one, accepting deposit. There is no bar in understanding who is the saver is. He may be of any religion, he may be from any caste, from any creed, from any gender, whoever may be. Any individual who is going to a bank as a saver is accepted by the bank. They can deposit the money over there in the particular bank, and bank is abide by the rules that they have to accept whoever it may be. Am I clear? So whoever it may be, bank is there accepting their deposits, right? Number two is granting loans. We even know about the rich industrialists in our country. Most of the rich industrialists do not have their own capital. They take out some loan from the bank and then start their own business. So even if you are thinking becoming a startup, having your own startup, you being a small entrepreneur or a young entrepreneur of this era, then you can also come to a bank and even apply for taking a loan. If you cross and if you find, if the bank find you to be more suitable individual to provide loan, bank can also provide loan. So all the borrowers can come to bank and even get loan in return. If the terms and condition of the bank gets fulfilled, bank is bound to give you the loan. Am I clear? So we have two functions. Number one, accepting deposit, and number two, granting loans. These are the two functions of the bank, basically the commercial bank of the country. So now whenever I'm talking about bank, I must focus on what bank I'm talking about. Commercial bank, sir, or central bank. So banks are basically classified into two categories. Number one is commercial banks of the country, and number two is the central bank of the country. Point to be noted, my dear viewers. I told about the commercial banks. So there was a plural terms, right? This is a plural sense I'm talking about. But when you come to a singular sense, I'm telling central bank of the country. Tarmane, we are coming across another topic of discussion. Our second topic is the classification of dichotomy of the banking system. Bank has two parts. One is the commercial banks, another one is central bank. There are many commercial banks in the country whose main objective is profit making, whose main objective is to do profit, right? Profit maximization, to do business. Banks or the commercial banks are set here just for that. But the central bank is only one. Every country has one central bank, and the Central Bank of India, which is known as the Reserve Bank, whose name is Reserve Bank of India, the RBI. This RBI or Reserve Bank of India, we have only one in our country. It would be your homework to find and tell me what is the name of the Central Bank of America or USA. So next time, don't forget to write this in my comment box, that what would be the name or what is the name of the Central Bank of America as well as the Central Bank of any other country. Whatever central bank's name from different countries you know, don't forget to write that in my comment box. Coming to the next topic of discussion, difference between central bank and the commercial bank. So what is central bank? There is only one central bank in the country, and for us, it is Reserve Bank of India. If we talk about the central bank, we must be very much valid in our statement. The central bank is known as the banker of the banks. All the commercial banks are under the particular one bank, which is known as the central bank of the country. Right? The central bank is the banker's bank, and it is having the sole authority or a monopoly power to print money. So central bank is given the monotony power, the entire monarchy, or we must say the entire monopoly power to print money in the country. But commercial bank doesn't print money. There are many commercial banks having an objective of only profit maximization. They have not a money printing authority, rather they are money makers. So commercial bank creates money, but central bank prints money. That is the basic difference. The central bank prints money, and the process of printing money is known as seigniorage process. The central bank prints money, while the commercial bank makes money. They create money. The money creators are the commercial bank. Money printer is a central bank. Right? If you talk about the example of the commercial bank, they are the State Bank of India, the largest commercial bank, the Punjab National Bank, the Bank of India, the Bank of Baroda, the Axis Bank, the Canara Bank, etc. etc. There are many such commercial banks you find in our country. There are few of the public commercial banks, and there are few of the private commercial banks. Few of the commercial banks are under government, and few of the commercial banks are completely privately owned. Right? Central bank and commercial bank have many more list down of differences. The second difference is the main objective. The objective of the commercial bank is to make profit out of the banking business that they do. But the central bank have an objective. What objective? The central bank's objective is to make the banking system stabilize in the country. So economic stability as well as banking stability is a major function of a central bank of the country. Right? Commercial bank is a banker to the people. We, the common people, yes, we, you, and every one of us, the common people of the country can directly go to the commercial bank. They do not have an access to central bank. So commercial bank is also known as the banker to the people of the country. Is a banker of the people of the country. While on the other hand, the central bank is known as not the banker to the people, rather banker to the banks. Right? Next, commercial bank do not deal with the government. Right? But the central bank is a particular financial organization, the head organization, the apex organization of the country, which deals with the government and is also known as the banker to the government as well. The central bank is known as the banker to the banks and also known as the banker to the government. Commercial bank is known as banker to the common people and do not deal with the government. Understood with more two differences? Coming up to another differences. There is one bank, there is central bank, which is the apex bank of the entire country. The whole country have the entire banking system have the topmost organization, and the name of the topmost organization is this RBI, the Central Bank of India. So central bank controls and monitor the entire banking system as it is the apex organization. While commercial bank are all the commercial banks are under the supervision of the central bank. Clear? Now it's your turn to find out other differences and write in the comment box. Coming up to the next point of discussion, that is the function of central bank. We are now heading towards the topic of the central bank first, then we'll discuss the different functions of the commercial bank separately. Let's talk about the central bank and its function. Central bank, the Reserve Bank of India, it has its headquarters in Mumbai. There will be another homework to you all viewers to know and to find out from Google and text me over there in the comment box that when did the central bank or the Reserve Bank of India was created in our country. When was it established? Not created, I must say established. I must be very much clear with the word. When have the central bank established in our country? Tell me the date of establishment of central bank the next time we meet in our YouTube. The next, we are coming across the next topic, that is the functions of the central bank. Yes. So, if you talk about the function of central bank, then the first function of central bank is central bank is the apex bank of the entire banking system. If I want to explain that particular thing, if I want to explain, the subheading is central bank is the apex bank in the country. Done. Now, whatever board you belong, wherever board you belong from AISC, let's say you're going for CBSE class 12, you're going for ISC class 12, you're going for West Bengal board class 12, this question is a very common question. That what are the functions of central bank? The first function is central bank is the apex organizer or the apex banking system in India. Now, to explain that by your own words, how will you explain that? Indeed, central bank is the apex organization. That means the apex means the head, the topmost. So it is the topmost, the top level organization in the entire country. All the banking system are being governed, not governed, I must say, monitored as well as supervised. Monitored as well as supervised by the central bank. So central bank has always an eye on the working done by the commercial bank in the country. Whatever commercial banks are doing, whatever economic decisions they are taking, they are all being supervised and monitored by the central bank of the country. All the decisions of the commercial bank are ultimately being checked, are ultimately being monitored, are ultimately being supervised by the central bank of the country. Clear? Number two, the second function to our story is central bank is also known as the banker of the banks. How, sir? There's a subheading. How to explain? Whenever the commercial bank wants to get the banking license, they had to appeal to the central bank. The central bank is a bank of our country. The Reserve Bank is a bank in our country that has a power to even cancel the license of any of the commercial banks and even have a power to renew the license of any commercial bank. All the commercial banks bow down in front of the central bank. That's the head apex bank. Whenever the commercial banks are in any financial crisis, they head towards home. They go towards home, the central bank. Central bank is thus having another function apart from this. Central bank, the next point, the next feature, the next silent feature is central bank is also known as the lender of the last resort. The lender of the last resort. You know what is the lender of the last resort mean? The ultimate savior. We know all that Jesus Christ was a savior who came as a Messiah from the Almighty. He was the Son of the Lord. Similarly, He came to the earth, to this unholy earth, just to save us from the sin, just to take up and make a beautiful world. Right? Similarly, the lender of the last resort. Suppose I went to Puri, I went to a particular outing, right? And there I was not getting a resort. It was like 11:30 or 12 o'clock night, and I was not getting any resort. This is my way of explanation, right? It will be quite easier for you to understand. Suppose I went to Puri or Digha or some any of the destination of whatever I choose for, right? And I went there and it was like 12 o'clock at night. It was very much raining outside and it was very difficult for me to get up to any hotel. So I was searching for an inn, INN, a hotel, to get in, to check in. So I ultimately found one inn. I ultimately found out one inn where only one room was vacant. The entire Puri was filled with all the tourists and only one particular inn was left out with one particular room. That fellow told me, "Sir, if you give me 5,000 bucks, I can give you the room." I happily ended up the story, but okay, fine, give me a room. Why? As I was in a high need of that, and in my high need, there was only one person who have showed his hand. Yes or no? People hardly do that nowadays. but still I got it. So what's that? That was a lender. That was the last resort I visited, and I got a help. Similarly, our RBI acts like a Brahma. He actually gives that particular boon. He gives that particular blessing or the boon, but all the other god and goddesses do not have a power to give. That's what RBI is. Whenever the commercial bank, let us say SBI, a commercial bank, have faced any financial crisis, suppose in a lockdown, the savers were not depositing money over there in the commercial bank, they were hardly going out to deposit money, right? And they were hardly depositing money in this commercial bank like SBI. Let's take an example. And our SBI was in a financial credit crash crunch. It was there in a cash crunch. What do you understand by the word cash crunch? Like suppose I, you, and any other of your friends have all went to SBI to deposit money. And from our money, the maximum amount of money has been given to as a loan by SBI to any of the investor, right? And SBI found me knocking the door the next day and asking that I want to take away all our money. That SBI have given all my money as a loan to others. Now the SBI is having what? Cash crisis? How can I take up my money? How can SBI give my money back to me? This is known as cash crunch or cash difficulty. This credit cash crunch is a time when SBI can go and ask for a loan to whom? RBI. SBI can come to the door of RBI. RBI, you are the apex organization of our country. Please do help me in my time, in my need. I am extremely in cash crisis. Can you please give me a loan? I heard from Shayan sir that you are the central bank of the country, right? You are having a supreme power. So can you please help me out by giving some loan? When commercial bank asks for a loan to the central bank just like a Brahma can give the thastu, a boon. Okay, fine. Take up loan. How much amount of loan you want? Our blessings can be ultimately given by the central bank. So central bank is that particular door which is knocked several times by whom? By whom? By the commercial banks. And ultimately the commercial bank can knock the door of that individual or that particular organization to the central bank whenever the commercial bank are in a financial crisis. That's the reason the central bank is known as the lender, the saver, the giver, the lender of the last resort. When nobody can help the commercial bank, only central bank can help. Am I clear? Clear? I'll give a small repetition. When the commercial bank are in a financial crisis, they will first go to what? Their headquarter. Suppose our Kolkata, or let us say our Krishnanagar SBI have faced any financial crisis. The Krishnanagar SBI will go back to the headquarter of SBI to ask for a loan. That I am in a financial crisis, please do help me out. At that time, if the headquarters say, who told you to give loan? A Bhukto? At that time, the commercial bank can ultimately go where? To the central bank. As they have not been helped by their headquarters, they can approach back to the central bank. As the central bank is an apex organization. I guess I'm clear to every viewers. The central bank is thus known as the lender of the last resort, the last helper who can save you at the last moment. Right? Number 3. The third function of central bank is having the monopoly power of printing money. So central bank is known as the money maker, not money maker, the money printer, right? Central bank, why central bank is known as a money printer? Central bank is having the sole authority to print money. You know, yes, money printing is not an easy process. Money printing is not an easy process. Why it is not an easy process? It is not like I got a 15 minutes of break in my tiffin period and I thought of, chalo, let's print money. It's not like that. Money printing requires something to be kept. Money printing is a decision taken jointly by the finance minister of a country and the governor of RBI. They can jointly take up the decision of printing money. And money printing process is known as a seigniorage process. Our government in our constitution has set up a rule that it is only the Reserve Bank of India who is getting the autonomous authority. The only one institution getting an authority of printing money. And which is the autonomous authority of printing money? RBI, Reserve Bank in our country. Now, is it so easy to print money? Is it like the government wanted to print money all of a sudden last night and suddenly the government, the RBI will start printing money? No idea. We are not in a story of Hitler. We are not in a story of Hitler. We are not in a story of Germany in where Germany wanted to print more and more amount of German currencies. We are in the present era, in the present India, in the present country, in the present India. If you want to print money or if RBI wants to print money, RBI have to keep 200 crore rupees, 200 crore of two things. Number one, gold reserves, and number two, securities, basically foreign securities. You may be very much curious to know how, sir? Yes, I am telling you the answer. 200 crore of total securities and gold, out of which 115 crore of gold, 115 crore of gold must be kept by RBI. Gold biscuit must be kept by RBI. It must be shown that yes, RBI must show to the countrymen as well as to IMF and World Bank that yes, I am having 115 crore of gold reserve. And the next is the rest, 200 minus 115, how much? 85. 85 crore of foreign securities. Foreign securities is foreign countries, foreign bank, foreign governments, bond papers, foreign companies, share papers. These are all what foreign security held by RBI. So this 85 crore of foreign securities and 115 crore of gold reserves, altogether 200 crore must be kept by RBI as a security in order to start the money printing process known as seigniorage process. And how much amount of money can be printed at a time? If you fix up 200 crore, there will be 200 crore of money that can be printed by that rupees 200 crore of reserves that you show. It is a minimum reserve requirement which is known as MRR. It is also known as minimum reserve requirement. Then what is the minimum reserve requirement? Like if I have a Jio mobile, if I have a Jio SIM, there is a minimum requirement, a minimum recharge. It is not mandatory that I do a minimum recharge. I can do a maximum recharge also. 1,000 rupees recharge also I can do. But there is a minimum recharge also I can do in order to have an access of this ongoing and outgoing call. Similarly, if RBI wants to print money, what is the minimum amount that is set? The minimum amount that says rupees 200 crore at a time can be printed. Now, when this particular thing is done, when rupees 200 crore of foreign securities as well as gold are being fixed. How much is that? 115 crore of gold reserves and 85 crore of foreign securities need to be kept in order to start the money printing process. Got it? Hope I made it clear to everybody. The next function is the fiscal agent and the financial advisor. RBI or the central bank of our country also act as a financial advisor of the country. Financial advisor. I guess you are quite aware of the fact that rupees 500 rupees note and those old rupees 500 rupees note are not in circulation anymore. Yes or no? Rupees 1000 rupees notes are no more in circulation anymore.